Okay, so welcome. We are about to start this final between thwol and jamdalla. This is the, if I can scroll down. This is the monthly two-player knockout for January. And thwol had to beat Karanira, Riley G, Burger H, and C Drake to get here. And I believe jamdalla had to beat Lau Lau, Pai Huang, Tamasizia, and Swern Glazer Neff. So very good opponents along the way. Oh yes, sorry. And everybody should start. Yes, we are recording. And I'm here joined with Gabriel CDC. Gabriel, are you
Hi,
there?
all.
Yeah, okay, great. So we're ready to begin.
So masonry versus sailing. So more dynamic start for thwol.
Yep. Um, I mean, masonry, you can draw a bit, but sailing is going to very quickly get a whole bunch of cards out. I would hope if I had masonry that I'd also get the wheel, maybe. But yeah, I think I'd be happier with sailing in this situation.
And just looking at it without knowing the other card in the hand, in many cases, like masonry wouldn't be my first play. Ooh, and so that first hit of clothing could be pretty dominant depending on what else thwol has in hand.
I mean, I imagine right now thwol will just use clothing to go for the 3 points, for the 2 points, unless he's got wheel in his hand, in which case it's only 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
If I had sailing and wheel, I'd probably meld sailing first.
I think I would meld wheel. I like to keep sailing for tempo plays later.
Mm.
What if you have a yellow in this case? What if you have domestication? Do you bother with clothing or do you draw to set yourself up better for the next turn?
Yeah, I think I would probably draw.
I feel like if thwol is waiting here, there's got to be something wrong. Like I feel like if this was a red or a blue or a purple card, it's sort of like automatic clothing, right?
Right, right. So yeah, the fact that he's waiting, yeah, he must. I mean, yeah, because if you have a yellow, then you meld it with clothing, and if it's domestication or agriculture, it's like, yeah, that's a good card, but you end up scoring a
Then
card.
you're out of steam. You got empty hand. You can only score 1 point per clothing.
Yeah, whereas like next you draw next turn and it might be a color that jamdalla doesn't play, and then you get to do clothing twice. Yeah, I would probably draw here if you have a green or
Okay,
okay.
and it was domestication.
I guess he's th feeling that he might share domestication uh and get 2 cards in hand, maybe.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like if it's me in thwol's position, I might not want to do domestication. I mean, now definitely not, but might not want to because give Jamdalla the better opportunity to establish board presence. I like that use of masonry. I usually feel like um uh people are hesitant to use masonry if they're not going to get all four, but I think this is an excellent example of you would use masonry to
Yeah,
just
you
meld a
really want to
couple.
just cut off clothing and cut off all that scoring opportunity. And then wheel just lets
Yeah,
you
this is
card.
I think like a great like the best case scenario facing clothing is like basically completely defanged now, and Chandala has the wheel, so can like sort of quickly draw to reds and purples if necessary.
I think now jamdalla's, if he has reds and purples in hand, he's like, well, I
Yeah, I
could
would
do
definitely play one
masonry,
or the other.
right? And I could do masonry to stop clothing because probably thwol has either red or purple in hand as well. Although probably the first one that he drew was not that, it was probably blue. Okay. Um,
Another option.
yeah. I mean, tools isn't useful at this point, and this forces thwol to aid jamdalla in development.
We don't know what jamdalla has in hand. Like maybe those other three cards tell them something about what thwol might have. You know, maybe they know that, you know, maybe they have agriculture as well, um, and so know that they're not putting themselves really at risk.
Hmm.
So I guess with this domestication play, thwol is going to get a couple of twos. So no, I was wrong. thwol did have agriculture.
Yeah, and now if he has a red, he gets at least one scoring opportunity with clothing for free.
And then that would guarantee the one achievement if if he wants it.
Hmm. But Jamdalla probably has at least two castles in hand. Um, so I'm guessing the wheel followed by masonry is coming up.
Could be, yeah. I feel like if I'm Drumdalla, I still want to like play that red one way or another this turn, so that thwol has to burn resources to score with agriculture.
Or if you have something that has a leaf, you could tuck the leaf with coat of laws and then
Mm,
tie again on leaves with clothing and neutralize clothing again.
sure.
Mm.
Okay. Not gonna take my advice. I guess running for masonry as you suggested,
Mhm.
and I guess what do you think? What do you think we see here? Like that's a lot of cards in hand for Drumdalla. Like thwol can't love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be two reds out of the ones. Or maybe a red in city states or mysticism.
Mm,
Um, and then if one of those twos is map making, that's gonna be trouble. I was just
yeah.
in a very painful map making game where I got in a very lucky sequence with metalworking, and I scored like 6 points or something like that with metalworking and got monument, but then map making came out and just sucked away all of those ones. It was pretty,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here,
Okay.
I guess there's only one in teachable score pile, so the sort of like worst case scenario is not that bad in this case.
Yeah.
And we see that as Jamdalla is not putting on any pressure at the moment to achieve, TH12 is not rushing to achieve.
Yep, yep. You can wait and just keep building up a score pile until there's actually a threat that Jamdalla will achieve the one.
If I'm thwol, I'm also wondering, do I have to worry about construction? I mean, not much to do about it if that last card in hand is not blue, but
Mm.
it's something that I'm thinking about if I'm teachable. Unless there's a two in the score pile there.
So thwol has archery in his hand, which is interesting. Because that could work nicely with road building to steal something like the wheel.
How did we see that it was archery? I didn't
Whenever
notice.
he was activating clothing, since he wasn't melding, he had to reveal his hand as not having anything
I
valid.
see. I didn't notice. Oh yeah, no, I see.
Okay, so jamdalla gets monument, stops clothing. Um, tied on the leaves, so fermenting and pottery aren't gonna work. And ores is pointless because jamdalla knows it's archery.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I guess like you know, thwol is basically guaranteed to get the two already if he wants it with via agriculture more or less. So I feel like pottery isn't the worst thing. Like get more threes, you score two, thwol only scores a one.
I might have tried mysticism here and just had a blind meld of a three just for something fun.
Mm.
But maybe hmm.
Yeah, you like with a clothing start, you can't, it's not, you shouldn't feel bad about not getting the one, not getting the two, but you want to try to cut it off before thwol gets the three if you're jamdalla.
So jamdalla has a fun play. It's one of these great combos, which is next turn you can share fermenting because they're tied on
Mm.
leaves and then
And then
hit
ores.
ores.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that should even the score quite a bit. Maybe if Ball's considering that. Oh, no. Let's see if fermenting and ores is gonna come into play. Because I mean, thwol had the opportunity with road building to maybe send archery over and cover up
Hmm.
ores.
Yeah, I feel like that is not a terrible play. Especially like, if jamdalla doesn't send ores over himself, then you're going to get the wheel as well,
Mm,
which is much more useful than clothing at this point.
yep, here comes shared fermenting and ores. So Chamdala gets 3 cards because of the share. And now maybe a lot of points with ores. Ah,
Ooh, low roll.
yep.
So now though, thwol had better take the two achievement because I guess it's not doesn't have to be this turn, but it better be sort of like ready to do it next turn because jamdalla can do the same thing again.
So thwol has education, which is fun with agriculture. Um,
Hmm.
like
I
can
feel like it's often a little too slow.
oh yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess it really just depends. Like, because once you get up to the higher tech level, once you do that once while your opponent's, doing other things, then to use it again, like maybe that gets you to the fives, but then to use it again to get you to the, I don't know, the eights or whatever, it takes just so many actions.
Mm,
Draw agriculture, and then education and meld, and maybe by then the opponent has some disruption.
do you think thwol is considering breaking the leaf tie so that he doesn't fall for this fermenting ores? Because fermenting ores is at its most dangerous with the fours and especially the fives. There's a lot of fives with
Uh-huh.
ones.
So, like you're suggesting maybe playing feudalism or road building to play feudalism and archery.
Actually, so I was thinking he would cover up clothing or agriculture, but he doesn't actually. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have any cards that would actually do that. So, you know, maybe draw 4 and hope that it's something that would cover up green
Hmm.
or yellow. Nope. So he's going all in on leaves. to achieve the 2 first.
Oh, I see. Like, yeah, you were suggesting the opposite of what I was thinking here. So just
Yeah, and
my
so
mistake.
give up, let Jamdalla have pottery and fermenting, which is dangerous, but I don't know if
I mean,
it's
even just pottery is dangerous at this point, right? Like,
right.
rapidly gonna even out the score in that case.
Mhm. But just having fermenting plus ores hit you on the 4s and the 5s is not going to be fun
Yeah,
either.
not great.
Although you're only drawing
Well,
2 cards, which isn't the hugest risk.
could also like road build at any point to cover up that ores. So thwol must not be that scared.
Hmm.
If you're Jamdalla, are you worried at all about what you're going to leave in thwol's hand if you do that? Like worried about giving experimentation or anything like that?
Experimentation,
Reformation.
not so much. Uh, Reformation, no, because Monument's already,
Monument's already gone, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I would
Anatomy
be
doesn't
worried
seem
about
like
things
it's
like
anything to scared
Enterprise,
about.
but Enterprise would get eaten
Yeah,
by,
Enterprise or yeah, gunpowder, same thing.
yeah. So, I mean, gunpowder right now is a worry. So either you get it in your hand from fermenting, in which case it's a
Or
way,
you eat it with
or
ores.
or you get it with ores. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm Jamdalla, I just do the same trick again.
Yep. I hope he's not considering doing something like canal building and melding all those 3s and going for the 3 first. I mean, that'll work, but I really think fermenting with ores as a share would be better. And then you could always do mysticism to meld quickly.
What about optics? If you have optics, are you considering Meld and Dogma optics as Jamdalla?
No, that's too slow. I like ores. I like ores because it really constrains thwol's ability to draw.
I mean, one issue with aiming for the 3s in any way is that Jamdalla doesn't have a 3 on board, so it is going to be a little slow.
Mhm. But I'm saying if you do fermenting in ores and let's say you score a bunch, then just a
Hmm.
simple mysticism will get you the 3 that you need.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
unwilling to share. Yeah, it seems like not what I would have done, but you know, don't know exactly what Jamdalla is thinking.
I bet if those had crowns, he's gonna be really kicking himself, you know. Um, yeah, at that point, once you've committed to the wheel, you don't have anything better than to do the wheel again.
So I mean, this is not a play that I think I would have made in this situation, but I could imagine. Um, Tuchel doesn't have alchemy, right? Yeah, I could imagine like if you have alchemy, you're digging for reds to make sure the coast is clear, and either you're going to find gunpowder and then you can maybe use it to get rid of road building, or you're going to find both of them and then you could alchemy. I don't think I would do it that way, but
Mhm. I think at this point, I would have just done agriculture, on archery, and then another agriculture or philosophy, and go for the 3 as thwol.
Yeah, by either playing a 3 now or scoring that with agriculture, you can still basically close to guarantee the 3.
I guess he's thinking I draw a 4 if it's got crowns, I agriculture it. And then I'm
Uh-huh.
at 15 already. So
Yeah.
and he doesn't lose any cards that way. Yeah, so maybe that was a little bit better, slightly more efficient.
And
Um,
so this guarantees more or less guarantees, like, I don't know, maybe map making could delay a tiny bit, but
hmm. Yeah, I really would do fermenting with ores right now. Even if I got something like gunpowder in that last draw, gunpowder kills road building, and then I get 6 points and I'm done. It doesn't help significantly. Whereas I think,
so the one other consideration is like maybe but again, I'm not sure I would feel this way, but maybe Jamdalla feels like, okay, I'm too behind on score. I need to get into higher tech level and like introduce more chaos in order to get to the things that can equalize fast. I'm going to give up on the 3, maybe even give up on the 4, and try to establish a better board presence so that then I can, establish dominance in the 6s. This is not the way I play, but it's the way that some people might think about this situation.
so I imagine he must have canal building in his hand, Jamdalla,
Mm,
because he's getting all these 4s. He might do wheel again, and then he's
hmm
got 8 4s, which is 32 points. Okay, yeah.
But he plays one of the 4s, so
Hmm. So that's interesting. I would have, yeah, if he had canal building, then I would have expected him to draw a lot of 4s and then use canal building, score them all, and get, 32
maybe get
points.
the 5,
And then a
or maybe even the
mysticism.
4 if you're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah,
But now it looks like it's going to be like a play of enterprise followed by drawing a 6 and giving up on score entirely.
yeah. I think that's what he's trying for, is a tech jump. And the 6s are
Mhm.
always juicy, but they're not always, um, they can be a mixed bag, right? I mean, some
Yeah, I
things,
mean, it is true that if you look at TH12's board, there's like very little, like there's nothing that TH12 can do to like draw quickly. So with that tech jump, TH12 is going to be slogging through the 4s and 5s to catch up. And archery is not very scary with all the castles still showing.
mhm. It's just also a shame that if he does printing press, if Chamdala does that, he's returning a 3, which is not that cheap of a cost. If he had
Mhm.
returned a 1, that would be very cheap and
Yeah,
efficient.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess if push comes to shove, TH Wall can do his own tech jump, as you said, with education. So not even like gaining that much by doing the jump.
Yeah, actually, I mean, he could jump to age 7 after one more use of
Yeah,
agriculture, and why not? Um,
but that will take another draw to do it that way, right?
yeah, and I mean, assumedly that bottom 4 was something with crowns that thwol was worried
Uh-huh.
about. So there is a little bit of a risk that fermenting plus ores um, might lead to Jamdala scoring 3 4s and getting 12 points, and then achieving the 3 first as a big surprise. Um,
hmm
yeah, I don't know.
But now THL is set up to do that education and get the 7. Although I don't know how much I'd like to do that with uh, all of the cards showing in Jamdalla's hand. I mean, I know we're not vulnerable right now if we're THL to machinery, but there's just too much action there, too many outs for Jamdalla to be able to steal a card from hand or board.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the case that if THL does do that tech jump and succeeds in like keeping that 7 out on the board, then it's probably just like a race that Jamdalla is not likely to win. So canal building was the plan, and the printing press was a feint.
Maybe, or maybe he says this is how I can get H4 first.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so now THL's got to get 3. Like you can't.
yeah, so he's gonna meld education, achieve
Presumably,
3, and then next turn use education and meld whatever 7 he draws.
I mean, it's dangerous because like probably I mean, I guess we imagine at that point canal building will have been played. So I was going to say probably Jamdalla has Enterprise, but Enterprise will be gone.
Yeah, but things like Compass will come in,
Yeah,
will be available, and
yeah.
Compass is
And
dangerous.
that's
The higher level
dangerous. Yeah,
cards do have a lot of leaves.
but there is like agriculture there, so it, like sort of gives you a chance to plant yourself in the 7s if you're teachable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that this isn't a snap call from THWOL because I can't imagine that it's a good idea to let Jamdalla get that 3. Okay. So he did do as anticipated.
So now Jamdalla is gonna get 28 points.
I mean, that's an option that I guess it's not actually necessary to rush it in the sense that THWOL can't easily score the 4 achievement. Okay, but he does do it. I might have melded one of those 4s for utility first,
Mm-hmm.
still guaranteed to get the 4 achievement, and then maybe enterprise, and then you're sort of like putting pressure on THWOL about the possibility of melding that 7 that they draw with that education.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that you've done this, you might as well just achieve now and see what happens, as opposed to like sort of setting it up so that you have to like worry about achieving once THWOL has like jumped ahead.
I don't know, maybe I'd just do the wheel. Why not? You've kind of got the 4 locked in. Why not see what the 5 is?
Well, I guess it also depends on like what the 3s are. I guess like what I'm imagining is like something comes out in those 7s. THWOL melds it over something, and so then you want to be able to like respond, maybe like fight for whatever symbol is on that 7 or whatever. It's very nice to be able to mysticism if you need to meld 2 cards from your hand if you need to, etc. And to be able to do that twice if the situation is desperate based on what that 7 is.
I mean, he could also do mysticism and meld the 4 if he knew that the four wasn't something like experimentation, mill that
And he does
four,
know
and get a
most of
five
the
in hand.
information about the fours, yeah.
And then next turn achieve the four and meld the five potentially. And
So
achieve.
if you're Jamdalla, what are you scared of seeing thwol meld off of this education?
Um,
I feel like I'm scared of evolution.
yeah, evolution and combustion normally, except that Jamdalla has the lead on crowns. Um, Certainly not explosives or publications. Um,
You know, lighting can be scary.
Lighting, yeah, would be a lot of points. Even, I mean,
And
even railroad would maybe be helpful for thwol to get some activity, although it run into the problem with ores.
uh yeah, I guess um it does like I'm a lot less scared of thwol drawing a seven, except it is the scariest one
Yeah,
than of drawing a six. I feel
evolution.
like most of the sixes are a little scarier.
This is bad news.
Well, now if I'm Jamdalla, I am scared. Like,
I mean, at this point, thwol has so many ways to get a lead on the score and then draw above H10 with either education or evolution. It's
so
a
like I feel like maybe like pray for societies. Like, is there any other?
ooh, societies would be fun. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't see really any other outs.
So definitely draw some fives.
Yeah, and the players also see this as a lucky draw. Yeah, at this point. And I feel like Teachwell wants to maintain control here to whatever extent possible. I feel like he's more likely to do the first mode on evolution twice rather than drawing a nine and ending the turn with a nine in hand.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely doing evolution twice ties the score at 28 each. And then just
Puts
a little
pressure on
a little
Jamdalla
bit.
to achieve the take the turn off to achieve the five, and then Teachwell probably gets the six, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and if he does that twice, then, you know, if he does it a couple more times, he can do education, draw a 10, and then agriculture and win on score.
Mm-hmm,
Um, Even if Jamdalla had gotten societies and right now melds it and steals evolution, education just goes ahead and returns an 8 and draws a 10, and
mm-hmm.
that's going to be the end of the game very fast for somebody.
I feel like Teachwell is not going to want to do that until he can end the game that turn. I feel like he doesn't want to draw a 10 and leave it in hand for the chaos that could ensue.
Mhm.
And if you don't have societies, I don't know what you do if you're jamdalla. I
Hmm.
guess achieve, but like as you say, like then your THL is racing for that end game.
Printing press. Sorry, not printing. Pirate code would steal some of
Hmm.
those low cards, but at this point, some of the damage has already been done.
Hmm. Okay, so this is desperation mode then.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I think he might have forgotten that things had gotten returned, and he's not just
Could be
farming
a
five, welding a five. Yep. John Dollar just says, "Oh no, LOL, I forgot his return cards." Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the end of the road.
Well, he could try to do it again.
But now if THL wants to achieve the five, he can do that and like, you know, establish like the complete dominance just from not even have to run for the risky tens.
Right. Astronomy is not what he needs.
No, not an active enough five by any stretch of the imagination given the situation. So if you're playing this as THL and you want to like maximize your chance of not, you know, giving away what looks like a very dominant position, do you aim for the win by score or do you aim for the win by achievements?
I would right now, I'd probably do evolution once. Um, which would get me to 34. That's not
And then
enough.
achieve the five?
Yeah, I was thinking doing evolution once and achieving the five just to lock it in. But maybe actually do evolution twice. Because even if astronomy gets shared, that doesn't make it that doesn't cover up agriculture or education. So at that point you've locked it in. So you do
Mm-hmm,
evolution twice. You get 12 points, you're at 40. And then if you did education, you'd return an 8 and you'd be at 32. Uh,
mm-hmm.
and so you'd win. Okay.
Yeah, he chooses not to do it that way. Um,
I mean,
I
he could
guess
also do,
we could imagine that being disrupted by first use is astronomy, which covers evolution, and jamdalla melds atomic theory, and then second use is atomic theory, which is shared, and um, and THL has to cover agriculture or education. One could imagine something like that.
hmm.
I feel like this is I probably wouldn't want to think about like all of these possibilities, and I would feel like what THL did is safer. Like, don't have any eights on the in hand, don't have any tens in the hand, don't have anything like that on the board. Just um, you know, try to keep it with just 1, 2, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah, but at this point, thwol could score or maybe draw 9.
Mhm. I would not draw that nine. Don't want to
Well,
like.
nothing's gonna steal the 9. There's no ores anymore. Um, and machinery isn't gonna work.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I
Um,
guess you're right.
who would steal that 9?
I mean, if you have to play the nine, maybe something could steal it.
And then and
But
then you
shared physics could make you put it back.
but here, okay, so you draw the 9. Okay, let's say shared physics. Okay, that's one option. But if you draw the 9, then on your next
What
turn
am I
you
talking about? Jamdalla doesn't have a six. I mean, I guess like that's astronomy, a very lucky hit on astronomy.
yeah, so right now you could do thwol could have the win the very next turn. If he draws a 9, and then his next turn he does agriculture on the 9, returning that for 10, and then he does evolution to draw a card one higher than the 10 in the score
Mm,
pile wins on. He wins 38 to 28.
mm-hmm.
And if astronomy covers up evolution, you at least have a 9 in your hand. Um, and I
And
guess
so
the main risk would be, I mean, so there is the risk you said about shared physics. Another risk would be astronomy coming up with classification, and then he does classification,
mm,
steals your 9.
mm, mm,
That
mm,
would
mm,
have to be
mm.
really
Yeah.
good too.
Um, is there as clean a way to win if you score that 8 or score the 8 and return the 2 with the and take that mode as he did? Let's
Yeah,
see. So what does that put him at? You said 34. So he
yeah.
probably gets the 6, but then he's like a little short of the 7. So it's still a couple of turns, and there's maybe some ways that we could imagine this getting disrupted as well.
Yeah, I mean, he might want to do an agriculture on one of those cards in his hand.
So if you're Jamdalla and you're trying to, like take your desperation moves, what do you do? Do you printing press to get a 7? Is that too slow? Do you astronomy and hope for the best?
There's no 7 that's going to cause trouble except for combustion, and you'd have to like have the luck of drawing
That's
that
too
and then
slow.
meld it and then use it. It is too slow. I would probably share astronomy here and hope for some chaos, covering up the blue card.
Is bicycle fast enough?
Um,
Like printing press, you draw bicycle, you play bicycle, then thwol achieves the 6. Then does he have 35 points in hand? Yeah, must. Then Jamdalla achieves the 7 with bicycle. So it's sort of like delays the inevitable, but then thwol just switches back to what you suggested and aims for 10s.
mhm. Yeah,
So if you're Jamdalla here, you astronomy and see
I
if
would,
you can.
yeah, I would opt for chaos here.
And is there any chaos that is possible even? I guess like hope that thwol has to cover up the blue.
If you have societies, you could try stealing evolution now. Um, Although agriculture and education is already so dangerous.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I think we're like really grasping at straws here, right?
yeah, I mean, not the worst though. I mean, thwol would have to draw, would get a 10. Okay, so here's the chaos. Did not work the first time. Um,
Hmm.
Go again. Why stop? Because now the sharing bonus definitely wasn't a blue 6. So all the blue 6s are still back in that pile. So I would definitely try sharing again.
I mean,
Uh,
this makes it faster for, well, yeah, I mean, that doesn't even really matter.
oh,
Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
yeah. So really not what would be helpful here for Jamdala.
Yeah, I feel like now if I'm thwol, just achieve an agriculture and lock it in for next turn. more or less.
Sure. Yeah, like agriculture, one of those sixes.
Yeah, even a 3 is probably enough, but yeah, 6 you also like then can control the chaos of astronomy a little.
And there's no
Astronomy is no
worry
longer
about
shared.
vaccination or anything like that. I mean, it's
No.
just
Yeah, game is over. It's amazing with like so many cards in hand, but jamdalla is really like very hard to imagine any sort of outs. So I wonder what thwol is thinking about because he must like be worried about something that you and I don't see.
I think he's
Otherwise, I feel like he already would have done it.
always trying to make sure he doesn't miss a possibility. Um,
Uh-huh.
I mean, classification's a little bit of a worry, you know, his
Okay, I
classification.
guess there's also the what we said before, like societies and steel evolution, because then thwol is without a 7 to get the final achievement. I guess it would also be possible to achieve the 7 this turn and the 6 next turn instead.
Yeah, have two winning conditions.
I guess we'll see. Doesn't look like
Depending on what that two is, though, metalworking. Oh no, but it will be shared. That's funny. Uh, I mean, metalworking could score two, and that would be just enough for jamdalla to get the three, the H6. So
okay, and
to
thwol
30.
did achieve the 7 first, rendering himself immune to that society's angle. Well, that was an out that I wasn't thinking about, at least at first. And thwol has held on to that archery and road building this entire time to be able to defang some high red or
Hmm.
steely green this entire game. Well, I guess the story here is that that early lead from clothing, jamdalla was never able to sort of uh, catch up to that. And by the time the canal building came online, um, thwol had already established that lead with 3 achievements, and then that lucky draw of evolution really made the game.
Yeah. Thwol has told me before that he feels that when evolution comes out, the game will be over in usually about 4 turns. I mean, it's often really speeds up the end of the game.
Hmm.
It's just it's a dangerous card. Um,
Yeah, maybe not if it comes out like randomly, like like via vaccination or something, and the whoever has it melded is behind in light bulbs, then maybe it just never gets activated.
hmm.
But yeah, certainly if you have light bulbs and you can start burning evolution.
No, I really don't see any options. I mean, his sixes, jamdalla sixes. So thwol had machine tools and vaccination, I think. And jamdalla,
I thought Jamdalla drew vaccination.
jamdalla had vaccination. Oh, I refreshed the page, so now I can't even see the log.
Yeah, Jamdalla has vaccination.
Yeah. I refreshed the page because it's like all those notifications of friends logging in, logging off, and it just clogs up the log. And people have, it's one of the most highly rated bugs on BGA. People have requested, can we please turn this off? Can there be a feature? And it would be so easy, and BGA just doesn't want to deal with it. Yeah, there's not much to do here.
Yeah, all over but the crying.
I mean, nothing even, no way to score. And I at least like, force thwol to keep scoring somehow. I guess if he had gunpowder, he could melt gunpowder and use it. And that would score 4 points. Oh no, that's still you'd lose by 1 point. That's too bad. Man,
I think there's nothing.
um, statistics won't do anything. And even if he shared astronomy and got to age 7, there's no blue or, well, actually, you know what? Sharing astronomy, if that would potentially meld two blues. It potentially would meld two blues onto thwol, and then the last card, the last 6 would be whatever thwol returned. And then you could, if the top 7 was bicycle, you get bicycle, and then you could use bicycle to score that whole hand. And that would
Yeah,
have
but
been,
it doesn't matter because thwol can immediately achieve.
okay, yeah, so that's the other path. But you would have stopped him on score. If I were, which way would you go this way? The clean one action move, or he just went.
Definitely the clean one action move. I've done too many things where I misclicked or made a mistake or something. I've always the clean one action move if I can.
Okay. Well, that was a very good game. Let's chat with the participants. Great game. Evolution was a killer. Very lucky draw. Congrats.
Yeah, without that pressure, maybe Jamdalla could have, Jamdalla had a few more of the early achievements. Maybe just ignore the achievements, let thwol, achieve the 5, achieve the 6, whatever, and like race to catch up somehow in tech. But with those 3 achievements already there, it was just too much pressure.
Hmm. I guess I'll go back to the game.
So we stop the recording.
Yeah. Congrats all. I'm stopping the recording now. And great game.